Joining us now on 710 KURV, your representative, Congressman Filemon Vela. He's going to recap last week's hearing. Good morning, sir. And for all of us who were unable to attend this event, what was said and what will be accomplished because of it?
Well, good morning. I thought it was a good idea for Congressman McCall to hold this hearing because we have Democrats and Republicans on the committee, obviously, and there are folks from the left and the right who sit on the committee. And I thought it was a good idea to bring everybody together, to start to analyze the situation. It's very difficult for me to answer your question. What's going to happen out of this?
Yeah.
Because we're back in session beginning tomorrow morning, and there is so much going on out there. We're waiting to hear specifics from the White House is supposed to send us a letter requesting funding, but we don't know what the details are yet. And I'm sure that House leadership in both parties will be presenting their own versions of the same, and we're just going to have to see how it plays out this week.
So they start back up tomorrow. This is definitely going to get to fast-tracked a little bit, though, considering it's national news all over, right?
You would think so. The thing is, there's you've got that issue. You've got the issue with the VA.
True.
So there's a lot in the hopper right now, and we don't have a whole lot of time left this year in session. We're only
26
in
days?
session for 3 more weeks in July. We're out all of August, and I think we have 2 or 3 weeks in September, and then it's October for the election recess, and then we've got a week or 2 in November and December. So a lot to do and very little time to do it.
Yeah, then there's a lot of different topics, and both of those issues definitely affect the Rio Grande Valley. What are you going to bring to the table this next coming week to help?
Well, I've already there's so much to it. What I could tell you is that I think the most immediate concerns are ensuring the very basic health and nutrition needs of these kids that are there and of our own general public, And so these hearings, everybody got a good taste of what it's like in these congressional hearings. We're only given 5 minutes each to inquire. And I had some more questions for Chief Oaks, who, by the way, I think has done a tremendous job, through this for the last few weeks. And I had some, I've got some more questions that I proposed in writing, and I'm hoping to get the answer to those questions because, we want to do whatever we can up here in Washington to give them the support they need, both from the legal processing standpoint, but to the extent, we need, whether it be the Red Cross or anybody out there that can kind of help us out, we want to make sure we can get that kind of national help. And then, from the medical standpoint, do we have enough doctors and nurses? Can we use more of that kind of support? Every day I wake up and I tell people I think I have just as many questions as I have answers about what's going on.
Joining us now on 710 KURV, Congressman Filemon Vela.
Congressman Tim Sullivan here, and
Morning, Tim.
good morning. You had some tough questions for Governor Perry during his lengthy testimony. Did he adequately answer your questions in your mind regarding National Guard troops on the border and questioning along that line?
No, I really don't think he did. Governor Perry's been around a long time, and there's some things we can probably agree with. Sometimes some things we don't. But he's got this proposal to bring 1,000 National Guards troops to the border. And my question was, how does he think 1,000 extra National Guard troops would have helped prevent this crisis or hold back these 60,000 kids that are coming across when they're surrendering themselves? The good thing for witnesses in committee hearings is that the time of their answers takes up the questioner's time. So you can take 4 minutes trying to answer my question, and then my time's run out, so I don't get to follow up. I enjoyed it's a lot easier being a lawyer in a deposition because you control the time.
Interesting, yeah. Well, do you think that the testimony of some of the local folks, Hidalgo County Judge Ramon Garcia, our Border Patrol Sector Chief Kevin Oakes, the bishop who testified, do you think that testimony is going to be heard on an equal footing as what we heard from Governor Perry and DPS Chief McCraw?
It may not be from the national media standpoint, but I believe that from, I think, probably every member of the committee on both sides of the aisle probably weighted the testimony from Chief Oakes um, Chief McCraw, Judge Garcia, and the sheriff and the
Hmm.
bishop equally. Um, I thought that they all brought their different perspectives. I thought they did a tremendous job, and there's just there's there's a lot of things we have to sort through, but I do believe that their testimony, at least from the standpoint of the people on the committee, uh, will be weighted just as equally as that of Governor Perry.
Congressman, is this more of a problem we should deal with at Texas, or is this a more of a federal problem?
Without question, this is primarily a federal problem, and it's there's going to be components of it that are problems that belong to the state and local, but this is something we have to deal with here in Washington.
Well, joining us now on 710K Rivers, Congressman Filemon Vela, and everything starts tomorrow, right, sir?
Yeah, we begin the July session really kind of ramps up beginning tomorrow, and we'll see how things go. I'm hopeful that we can make some progress, and
Yeah.
you know,
Well, I'm sure you got a lot ahead for you for this next coming weeks. Anything new to report on the board that we forgot to ask you? I think it's
well, I just on this whole issue of immigration, I agree that we need border security, and one thing to remember is that in May of 2013, this very committee voted on a bipartisan, unanimous border security bill, but it's House leadership that never allowed us to vote on it. I think it'd be a good idea we could get that vote. But saying that, in this whole debate about immigration, I view the issue of immigration and border security um, differently than some. I think it's a mistake to condition the legalization process on border security, because when we're talking about the legalization process, we have over 7 million people that are in our labor force in every state in this union. And, either you agree we have to come up with a legalization process or you don't. And there's some who do and some that don't. That's the way this country works.
Thanks a lot for joining us again. That's Congressman Filemon Vela, who's recapping last week's hearing, and of course, he's heading over to the Hill for tomorrow. I think is when he said it all starts up. Let's go back to the news desk. This news is a service of the Pena Eye Institute. It's time to treat yourself to better vision. Call Dr. Raulito Pena at 661UC. That's 661-8733 for your free intra-LASIK consultation at Pena Eye Institute.
A magnitude 7.1 earthquake offshore has jolted a wide area of southern Mexico and Central America. The U.S. Geological Survey said the quake on the Pacific coast, 5 miles northeast of Puerto Madero near the Guatemala border. There is one initial report of 2 people killed in Guatemala. In Mexico City, buildings and light posts swayed, but no immediate reports of damage or injuries from there. A second Central Texas man has admitted to a plan to support terrorists overseas. Rahatul Khan pleaded guilty last week to a charge of attempting to provide material support to terrorists. Federal prosecutors say Khan was using an online chat room to recruit fighters to wage a holy war. They also say he also told undercover agents he wanted to join Muslim insurgents. 23-year-old Khan is a Bangladesh-born American citizen who was attending UT Austin. Opening statements are set today in the federal trial of a friend of Boston Marathon bombing suspect Johar Tsarnaev. Azmat Tzayakov is accused of removing a backpack and other items from Tsarnaev's dorm room at the University of Massachusetts Dartmouth several days after the bombings. He is charged with obstruction of justice and conspiracy. The Transportation Security Administration is implementing new safety procedures in response to concerns that Al Qaeda may be trying to produce a bomb that airport security cannot detect. The TSA is now requiring that passengers coming to the U.S. from some foreign airports turn on their electronic devices before getting on the plane. Devices that won't power up won't be allowed on board, and those passengers may have to undergo additional screening.
723 on 710 KURV. Stay with us. We'll talk sports up next.